Well, the investigation of the president and his staff regarding Russian meddling has been open to questions on fairness. And the more we watch the Judiciary Committee hearings on Capitol Hill, the more it seems like that the game might just be rigged. And some of the players, particularly Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, were outright haters of our president and justice.
In testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee, you said that you would only fire Special Counsel Mueller for good cause, and that you had not seen any yet. Several months have passed since then. Have you seen good cause to fire Special Counsel Mueller?
No.
Thank you.
According to the documents produced last night to this committee, Mr. Strzok and Ms. Page referred to the president as an utter idiot, a loathsome human, and awful, while continually praising Hillary Clinton and the Obamas. These text messages prove what we all suspected. High-ranking FBI officials involved in the Clinton investigation were personally invested in the outcome of the election and clearly let their strong political opinions cloud their professional judgment. The Department of Justice investigations must not be tainted by individuals imposing their own political prejudices. We are now beginning to better understand the magnitude of this insider bias on Mr. Mueller's team.
Do you ever shop at Walmart? That may be a dumb question this time of year right around Christmas, but if you do or have, you might be interested in what a very high-level government employee whose salary you pay said about you. He said he was in a Walmart in Virginia and he could smell Trump voters. That's not to say that everyone who shops at Walmart did or even would vote for Donald Trump, but this government employee said that he could smell people who shopped at Walmart and voted for Donald Trump. So who is this audacious snob who thinks that he's better than the rest of us? What kind of person supposedly working as a servant of the people would insult the people that he works for by having such an arrogant contempt for them? Peter Strzok of the FBI, who just got fired this week from Robert Mueller's special prosecutors team after it was discovered that he and his inter-office lover and FBI agent Lisa Page exchanged 10,000 text messages saying Donald Trump was an idiot, he was loathsome, and that it was their duty to make sure Hillary got elected and Trump didn't. First of all, what kind of government office allows inter-office romances? I thought that kind of thing was disallowed long ago. Second, who's got time to send 10,000 text messages that aren't work-related? I mean, if there's so little to do in the job that spending that much time romancing each other wouldn't even be noticed in the work output? Oh, and did I mention that Peter Strzok, he was the guy who headed up the investigation of Hillary Clinton and her illegal private server and the 33,000 deleted emails and her not telling the truth about her electronic devices and her failure to protect classified materials, and then determined, Peter Strzok did, that everything was okay and Hillary wouldn't have any consequences for repeated breaches of national security. Oh, did I mention that the same guy who called then-candidate and now President Trump names so vile I can't even repeat him on this show, he was the same guy who was put in charge of investigating Donald Trump. Or that another one of the so-called investigators of Donald Trump named Bruce Orr was recently demoted at the Department of Justice after it was discovered that his wife was employed by Fusion GPS, a company funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democrat National Committee, and that he had met with people from Fusion GPS. Oh, and did I mention that it was Fusion GPS that created the proven phony dossier on Donald Trump that was apparently used to get a warrant to spy on Donald Trump when he was a private citizen? And did I mention that the people who concocted this whole criminal enterprise used information they probably obtained illegally to create the story that Trump had colluded with the Russians? Now, is this confusing? Yeah, kind of. But here's what is not confusing. High-ranking people in our government's Justice Department who work for the taxpayers and who are supposed to be impartial have protected some politicians like Hillary Clinton while doing everything in their power to destroy candidate and ultimately President Donald Trump. This leads me to ask, if special counsel Robert Mueller, failed to ask about biases before he hired the people on his team, then he's incompetent. If he asked them and they told him, if he asked them and they told him about attending Hillary rallies, having a spouse employed by the organization that made up a false story about Trump, and he still kept them on his staff, then he's utterly corrupt. And if he asked and they lied and said they weren't biased, then we need to have them fitted for orange jumpsuits and tell them they have the right to remain silent. Let me be clear. I believe overwhelmingly the men and women of the FBI are professionals who maintain the highest levels of integrity. But those at the top have stained the good name of the agency by trying to rig an election and failing to do so, then stage no less than a coup d'etat to overthrow a duly elected president. This is no longer about politics. I'm not even asking what you think about this president. You may not like him at all. That's fine. This is about whether we keep our great republic. That's what it's about.